Do you consider yourself a true rock fan? Let's see if you recognize these 25 relics. In today's video, we'll explore the most iconic rock songs, immortal anthems that every generation should know, and worldwide hits that shape music history. Get ready to feel both nostalgic and ready to dance. Let's get started. No other rock song has inspired as much mystique, reverence, and debate as Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Released in 1971, it built slowly from acoustic serenity to electric transcendence, taking listeners on a spiritual climb that blurred the line between rock and poetry. Robert Plant's lyrics felt both ancient and prophetic, while Jimmy Page's guitar solo became the gold standard for emotional expression in rock. The song didn't just play, it unfolded, drawing you into a world where meaning twisted like smoke. It wasn't just music, it was mythology, layered with symbols and raw human yearning. To this day, the opening notes still silence rooms, as if the air itself remembers its sacred weight. Queen broke every rule with Bohemian Rhapsody, a 6-minute odyssey through operatic drama, hard rock, and tender balladry. Released in 1975, it defied radio norms and proved that complexity could still conquer the charts. Freddie Mercury's theatrical vision collided beautifully with Brian May's blazing guitar, creating something that felt like a stage play set to lightning. Each transition felt like a door opening to another world, and yet it all flowed with emotional coherence. There was no chorus, no formula, only brilliance, and that brilliance resonated worldwide. Long before streaming or algorithms, this anthem became an eternal fixture of rock's experimental soul. Smells Like Teen Spirit crashed into the early 90s like a grenade in a quiet room. Nirvana, led by the anguished genius of Kurt Cobain, took punk ethos and grunge grit and created a sound that captured teenage disillusionment with raw authenticity. The distorted guitars and shouted lyrics felt like a rebellion finally given voice. Suddenly, rock wasn't about glam or perfection, it was about truth, even if that truth was messy. The angst, the fury, the distortion, all of it was real, and that honesty hit a generation right between the eyes. With this song, Nirvana didn't just make noise, they gave millions permission to feel. Hotel California wasn't just a song, it was a destination. Released in 1976, it wrapped Southern California's golden dream in shadows of regret and excess, becoming a haunting parable of ambition and emptiness. The dual guitars of Don Felder and Joe Walsh painted a sunset soaked in mystery, while Don Henley's voice guided us through velvet hallways of illusion. Every line felt like an echo from a lavish, crumbling empire, still trying to sell the fantasy. Its lyrics teased a deeper meaning, something elusive and eternal, trapped like the song's guests, checked in but never left. That's why even today, its closing solo feels like a farewell we never truly said. With nothing more than stomps, claps, and attitude, We Will Rock You proved that simplicity can be thunderous. Released in 1977, Queen turned the audience into the rhythm section, turning stadiums into arenas of shared defiance. There were no complex solos here, only raw human energy. It was primal, tribal, and instantly unforgettable. The beat echoed in sports arenas, protests, and high school gyms alike, transforming crowds into armies. This wasn't just rock, it was a call to unity, rebellion, and unapologetic noise. In perfect contrast to its sibling track, We Are the Champions brought majesty to defiance. Also released in 1977, it was the crown jewel of rock ballads, celebrating resilience through operatic grandeur and unshakable pride. Freddie Mercury's delivery walked the line between vulnerability and triumph. It didn't matter who you were, the lyrics made you feel victorious, even if only for a moment. It became the universal soundtrack to victory, from sports fields to personal milestones. Few songs have made triumph feel so intimate and universal at once. Back in Black was more than a comeback, it was resurrection through riff. Released in 1980, after the death of lead singer Bon Scott, the band introduced Brian Johnson with a song that sounded like thunder given rhythm. The riff by Angus Young is one of rock's most recognizable, striking like a match with every repeat. It was a tribute and a flex. Mourning and mayhem rolled into one. The energy was raw, relentless, and entirely unapologetic, reminding the world that AC/DC wasn't done, they were just getting louder. With Back in Black, they turned grief into power and gave rock a new pulse. With the force of a nightmare turned anthem, Enter Sandman launched Metallica into mainstream rock dominance in 1991. Its pounding riff and dark lyrics blurred the line between lullaby and horror, creating a sonic landscape where fear became power. James Hetfield's delivery didn't soothe, it jolted. The track marked a turning point for heavy metal, proving it could be both commercially massive and fiercely unrelenting. It was aggressive but hypnotic, a bedtime story for a generation raised on chaos. In every way, Enter Sandman was Metallica's storm-breaking roar. When the Rolling Stones unleashed Satisfaction in 1965, rock and roll found its voice of frustration. Keith Richards' fuzz-drenched riff was a happy accident turned iconic, pulsing with youthful defiance. It was the anthem of a generation craving more meaning, more rebellion, more everything. Mick Jagger sneered through every syllable, dragging commercialism, conformity, and desire into the spotlight. That raw edge was something the world hadn't heard so boldly before, and suddenly rock wasn't just about rhythm, it was about revolt. Satisfaction lit the fuse that others would follow. With a guitar intro that glides like silk before exploding, Sweet Child O' Mine became the unlikely heartbreaker of hard rock. Released in 1987, it revealed Guns N' Roses' capacity for tenderness without losing their bite. Slash's opening riff became instantly iconic, ringing like a bell at the start of chaos. Axl Rose's vocals walked a tightrope between beauty and danger, delivering lyrics that felt handwritten in a torn notebook. The song balanced fragility and fire, giving hard rock its most unexpected love letter. It was a ballad in leather boots, full of soul and snarl. Bon Jovi gave the working class a modern fairy tale with Livin' on a Prayer, released in 1986. It wasn't just a hit, it was an anthem of blue-collar resilience, wrapped in synths, soaring vocals, and a chorus that seemed to lift the sky. Tommy and Gina weren't just characters, they were reflections of millions who refused to quit. The song captured struggle and hope in perfect balance, proving that rock could speak to ordinary people without losing its fire. Every whoa-oh became a chant for pushing through. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 wasn't merely a song, it was a revolution in disguise. Released in 1979, it dared to challenge educational systems with a haunting children's chorus and icy groove. Pink Floyd wrapped rebellion in rhythm, questioning authority with every beat. Roger Waters' lyrics turned classrooms into cages, giving voice to a generation weary of rigid systems. It was both protest and masterpiece, and its hypnotic melody disguised its fury. What could have been a lesson became a rebellion set to vinyl. Black Sabbath's Paranoid was lightning in a 2-minute and 53-second bottle. Dropped in 1970, it was rushed, raw, and unforgettable, channeling anxiety and alienation into one of the most essential metal tracks ever recorded. Ozzy Osbourne's voice carried desperation without apology. Tony Iommi's riff drove like a chainsaw through silence, announcing that heaviness had found its home. The band didn't just birth a genre, they captured a mood, and in doing so, handed the world its first taste of true heavy metal. From its first note, Thunderstruck hits like a live wire. Released in 1990, it felt like a lightning bolt with rhythm, a track that electrified every arena it touched. Angus Young's rapid-fire opening riff wasn't just music, it was a shot of adrenaline. Brian Johnson's voice tore through the track like a storm, commanding crowds into chaos. It was power, precision, and spectacle, and it reminded the world that AC/DC still had more thunder left to throw. This was not nostalgia, it was a fresh shock to the system. Whole Lotta Love was pure, unfiltered sonic seduction. Released in 1969, it turned desire into distortion, with Robert Plant howling and moaning through one of rock's most erotic vocal performances. The riff from Jimmy Page became a blueprint for hard rock swagger. The mid-song breakdown felt like a descent into another dimension, psychedelic, primal, and untamed. It was experimental but never lost its groove, bridging blues roots with futuristic ambition. This wasn't just a love song, it was rock getting unapologetically physical. Crazy Train marked Ozzy Osbourne's thunderous solo debut in 1980, exploding with a guitar riff that practically spun out of control. Randy Rhoads' precise chaos became the song's engine, while Ozzy's manic delivery rode over the top with wild confidence. It wasn't just heavy, it was unpredictable, like rock barely keeping its grip on the rails. Beneath the madness, the song delivered sharp commentary on fear, war, and society's descent into dysfunction. Ozzy blended theatrical flair with genuine critique, creating a track that screamed rebellion without losing its melodic muscle. It was a new chapter for metal and a warning shot for the world. What makes your world feel unhinged daily? Jump broke all expectations when Van Halen dropped it in 1984. Known for hard-rocking riffs, the band shocked everyone by leading with a gleaming synthesizer hook. Eddie Van Halen turned keys into weapons, launching a pop-rock fusion that still punched like a power chord. David Lee Roth's vocals brought the party to the front row, urging us to leap toward chaos with a grin. It was reckless, radiant, and undeniably catchy, proving that Van Halen could evolve without losing their edge. Jump wasn't just a hit, it was a signal that rock could still surprise. Before Bon Scott's untimely death, he gave us the unforgettable scream that opened Highway to Hell in 1979. It wasn't just a song, it was a declaration of defiance wrapped in blues-soaked rock and roll. The riff chugged like an engine on fire, relentless and unbothered by consequence.
You're gonna come down with us! Yeah!
Bon's swagger made Damnation sound like a party, and Angus Young's guitar sliced through the track like a devilish grin. It was unrepentant, unapologetic, and unforgettable, turning the Highway to Hell into the ultimate ride for anyone who lived loud. Released in 1981, Don't Stop Believin' began with a soft piano and ended as an anthem for dreamers everywhere. Steve Perry's voice soared above hope and heartbreak, telling stories that felt like our own. The song took its time, building slow, but erupting into something massive. It became more than just a hit, it was a rallying cry for those clinging to faith in the unknown. From dim bars to stadium lights, it found its way into every corner of culture, reminding us that sometimes belief is all you need. With Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen gave us escape on four wheels and a full tank of heart. Released in 1975, it was cinematic, desperate, and drenched in youthful fire. Every lyric raced toward freedom, with the E Street Band roaring behind like the engine of hope. Springsteen didn't just sing about leaving, he made it sound holy. The song pulsed with longing, love, and the ache to be more, capturing the spirit of every kid who ever looked past the skyline and dreamed. Born to Run wasn't just music, it was movement. Rock was never just a sound, it was a declaration, a heartbeat, a rebellion set to 6 strings and fire. These 20 anthems didn't just climb charts, they rewrote the rules, bled emotion, and gave voice to the loud, the lost, and the longing. From echoing arenas to broken bedroom speakers, their legacy lives not in nostalgia, but in the way they still move us today. Whether you grew up with these tracks or discovered them long after their release, they remain proof that great music doesn't age, it evolves with us. If rock still makes your heart race, your fist rise, or your soul feel seen, then this journey was made for you. Subscribe now and join the chorus because this story is far from over.